Hello, my name is Mitchell Sellen. This is, I believe, the third part in this timeline. We have just left off from the mother signing a stipulation granting me full custody and her having regular visitation, non-custodial visitation. That was in December of 2016. Children still remain with me 85% of the time. Up until April of 2017. In April, the children was remaining in my custody 100% of the time, as the mother had just abandoned the children and only had requested phone contact occasionally, where the children was refusing to speak with her. The children had told her that if she in the past, that if she kept doing the things that she's doing, like putting them with a guy, a gang member, known gang member, drug dealer, that scared them, that they would stop talking to her. She would not listen to them. She refused to listen to them. They told her that in front of me, and they refused to listen to her. So, in fact, I believe it is that situation that prompted the following. So I'm going to try to get this license plate of this stalker vehicle. Anyway, then time rolls a little forward, and give me a second. Yep, cannot see the license plate from here, but so time rolls a little forward. It goes to June 1st. Kids are out of school. I'm running my own business, and I have for the last couple years or so, and I take great pride in being able to run my business and take care of my children simultaneously and independently. So June 1st, 2017, the children school is out. It is now officially summer vacation. At this point, I text her, and my phone records will indicate that. Unfortunately, I've had a run of bad attorneys that we will talk about a little later, because I've asked them one question. I demanded them to do one thing, and that is to go get the forensic interviews, my phone records. I guess maybe that's more than one thing. But no matter what, they haven't done anything. They've refused. When I told them go get the forensic interviews, both of them, they, like for example, Mr. Green states specifically and unequivocally, he says his response is no, and I say why? And he says because I don't want to. Well, that's a problem in my book. Pretty much every attorney has not exactly said that in the exact words, but done exactly that in their actions. No attorney that I have had in the last 3 years has actually acquired any evidence themselves. It's the evidence that I have provided to them, and I have paid now $25,000 in legal fees, and all of that cannot even result in getting my phone record subpoenaed or the forensic interviews, which I've requested out of every attorney since this case has started, and each attorney has refused. So going on a little bit further, we are on vacation. We set out, of course I text the mother, I told her we are going on vacation. I text her on June 1st. We're going on vacation, summer's out, or school's out, summer's here. We're going to be gone for the duration of the summer vacation. We're going to go to all these different places. We'll be in contact. We're on our way. So no response, but that's not unheard of. Actually, when we communicate, it's usually one direction. She says something. Sometimes I'll respond. We don't communicate very much. There's obvious reasons why I'd really just prefer not to communicate with her on much of any reason, because she's irresponsible and she's vindictive, and it appears to me that everything that she's touching in her life, in our life, it just seems to go south. So I prefer to create distance and not have that connection, because it requires two-direction, unilateral action on both parts to behave yourself, to be good, to be responsible, to act in the best interest of the children, and she just never has. So to avoid any complications for the future, I thought it would be best to just not have much contact, only when necessary. So then we go on vacation. I've texted her pictures. July 1st, she has in fact asked to speak with the kids, and the kids are denying, but I also text her. I've also made recordings of that. When she does text, I'll push record on the video, and then inform my children the fact that their mother had texted wanting to speak to them, and their reply is no, I don't want to talk to her dad. And because my children are victims of crimes, and not wanting to torture my children, or force them to do things that they didn't want to do, I believe that it's the right of my child to say no, I don't want to speak to that person because that person has abused me. I'm not interested in re-victimizing children. That, to me, that causes long-term mental illnesses and so forth, and I just prefer that my children are healthy, happy, like all children should be. So at one point on July 1st, around that date, she had texted, I want to talk to my children. And just to mention, no time during this 3-month vacation did she ever say, I want to see my children. You need to bring the children back to me, or anything like that. She never said that, because she knew that we were on vacation. So on July 1st, she texts around that time, hey, I want to talk to my children. So I tell both my children that their mom just texted that she wants to talk to them, and they say no. And I sat and I thought about it for a second, and at that point, there had been enough time go by where they were saying no. I figured that maybe that what they needed to do was have that conversation with their mother. And so I told them that if indeed that they keep choosing to refuse to talk to her, that in fact she may put me in jail. That's exactly what I indicated to them at the time, and that I thought that if they had something to say, they should have that conversation with their mother. So I dialed their phone number and I handed them the phone, and then that's when they spoke to her. My son indicated that he did not want to talk to her. She asked why, and he stated, because you abused us. She then stated, oh, who told you that? Who told you to say that? Then my son turns to me, and I was about 10, 15 feet away, and he turns to me and looks at me and does this, indicating that to me that she's lost her peas again, that she's lying. And then so he then handed the phone to his sister, and she talked for a little bit to her. Everything seemed to be, okay with the mother. She had some communication. I had sent her pictures. Every time she asked to speak with the children, I would reply with something, whatever it is that their comment was. I always notified my children. I always encouraged conversation with her, but would not demand that my children speak to her because they are the victims. And so September, the beginning of September of 2017, on the return, I was arrested in Boise, Idaho, for custodial interference. Utah saw that it was necessary to issue a warrant across the state, in outer state, based on, not exactly sure, but based on the lies that the mother told. And what she said was that I was not allowing her contact with the children. I was not letting the children talk to her, which in fact, in these videos that I will also present on YouTube, it will also show that in fact I encouraged the communication with their mom, and also showing that I'm doing everything I can to support my children. So somehow they managed to muster with a weasel attorney enough information or lies, basically, to support going out of state and having me arrested by SWAT and machine guns in front of my children. I'm not exactly sure how that's beneficial to children, and I'm not exactly sure why it is that they can't just pick up a phone and call me. I have a business, I have a phone number, and I answer my phone. So why would they find it necessary to put that kind of traumatization into children? I'm not exactly sure. I don't even think that it's standard for one state to go out of state, especially when you have to get children back, especially when they haven't been kidnapped and there's no evidence of that, and they could have called the school and they could have found out that in fact the mother had never picked the kids up from school or ever brought them to school in over a year, at least, if not longer. And so that they would understand and do a proper investigation before they go and put children and a parent through this. But nevertheless, I was arrested, and then the children were put back with her. And till today, I have not seen or spoken to my children. And I'm telling you, it's not a good thing. It's near the end of May. My son's birthday was in the middle, just a week ago or so. I requested contact with them. I've been requesting contact with them. I want to see my children. I want my children back, and they are just refusing to allow me access to my children. And I can share with you my opinion as to why. Number one, my children don't lie. So when my children come and see me, if they were to see me, they're going to tell me of the abuse that's going on, and that's what they're afraid of. Everybody knows, me, and everybody knows the truth about what's going on, and they know my children love me so much, and they are going to tell me the truth. And so, so that I do not have any evidence of any more abuse, they're committing the crime of parental alienation and irreparable harm to support the mother and getting her custody, and to prevent her from being deported, as she is an illegal immigrant, using a false name. So again, my name is Mitchell Sellen. We'll go on shortly on the next version.